Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports Media Update. All right, this is going to be a pretty unpopular video and probably one of my most honest videos about the Caitlin Clark and Indiana Fever. Last night, they had a chance to take out another top team, which they beat the Minnesota Lynx early in the season, I think in July, but they didn't have Nafeesha Carla. Now, the two times Nafeesha Carla has been back, the Minnesota Lynx had shown why they are one of the best teams, one of the best defensive teams. I think, to me, I said it before, they are the best team in the league. I do believe that Minnesota Lynx will win the Wnba title. That's just my thought, my opinion on it, because I don't see New York. They beat New York for the Commissioner's Cup. Connecticut is not who they was early on in the season, and the Aces are an up and down team. They came back last night to beat the Sun, but nevertheless, the Indiana Fever are a young team. They don't have a lot of experience when it comes to playoff atmosphere and stuff. They just came off a 5-game winning streak, which they could have won it. The Indiana Fever could have won this game, but despite how the referees was officiating this game was pretty bad, was pretty telling. But when you have an experienced group going against a young group that has not played together for a long period of time, it shows, because this game was really like a playoff game, and Christie Sides and Indiana Fever got to realize when it gets to the playoff, the intensity is going to amplify 10 times more. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to cause your team to lose games, or whatever the case might be. Now, despite the Indiana Fever winning 5 games in a row, they're one of the hottest teams after the break. Caitlin Clark breaking records. Kelsey Mitchell breaking records. Leo Boston having a subpar second half, up and down. But now they are spending too much time bickering, fussing, complaining to the referees instead of playing the game. Caitlin Clark is spending too much time whining about calls instead of get her head in the game and play the game. You taking yourself out of the play, you costing your team possessions. You had a block and a steal at the same time. push the ball up the court in order to turn the ball over again. You could have took it to the basket and got fouled on there. I mean, something. You don't have to always force the play. You don't always have to force the pass. Sometimes look for the trailer. You know, you have a trailer behind you. You could have pitch it back to them. They could have easily made an easier shot. That would have been an easy assist. Or like I said before, go to the rack and get the foul. When you're not getting fouls, what you need to do is keep your composure. Leo Boston, the last 2 games, she's fussing with the referees. You know, she gets attacked. Kelsey Mitchell, she had excellent 3 games. The last 2 games, she didn't shoot well, but they played good. This game, she's frustrated. You could tell in the press conference she's frustrated. I get Caitlin Clark owning up to her mistake in the press conference, but we need you to be better. You are the leader of this team, and this team is only going to go as far as she goes. And if you spending every minute complaining, whining to the referees, they don't care about that. They're going to continue to make the game hard for you and not give you calls because now they know that you're going to go whine. They're looking to give you another tech. You know what I'm saying? Thank God she didn't. Even Christie Sides, said that she had to talk to Caitlin Clark about trying to keep her emotions in check. Oh, something that Pope B. Frank hit on his live that because Caitlin had this issue in college, complaining to the refs. Her dad had to check her from the stands, and she's a professional. She's a veteran. I don't think her dad needs to get in her professional life and check her, about her emotions. She needs to learn. She's a WNBA player now. She's not a rookie. That rookie shit is gone now. You've been breaking records. You rookie of the year. You're in the MVP conversation. But also, Christie Sides needs to step up more. It's all fun and everything. You doing all of this stuff. Y'all just won Coach of the Year, Player of the Month, Rookie of the Month, and all of that. Okay, teams are not going to lay down for y'all now. That's the thing that the NFL going to have to understand. Teams are not going to lay down for them. Teams are coming out to beat them. Teams are coming out because they're a good team now. They're not like how the LA Sparks or the Chicago Sky, who's been lost 7 straight games. They're not like the Dallas Wings that play competitive but still find a way to lose games. They're not like the Washington Mystics. They in the playoffs. They're the 6th seed in the playoff right now. And my thing is this here. They need to get their head out of their ass and stop acting like they shit don't stink. Because you got some success right now. That doesn't mean you have won anything. You still got a long way to go. You got 2 hard games next Wednesday and Friday against the Aces. You got a game Sunday against against the Atlanta Dream that's trying to make the playoff. That's not going to be an easy game. Even though you have beaten the Dream 3 times, that's not going to be easy. They trying to make the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Then you close out the regular season next Sunday against the Dallas Wings. So you got, after this week, after tomorrow, you only got 3 games left. And you going to have to get in playoff mode. You got 2 teams against the Aces that, they're not gonna lay down for you. They're gonna try to beat you. You can easily go from a 5-game winning streak to a 4-game losing streak to go into the playoffs. And that's not gonna be a good look. Now I understand everybody sit here keep calling for Christie Sides to get fired and all of this nonsense and stuff like that. Okay, Christie Sides, we already know that Christie Sides is not one of the top tier coaches. She's in her 2nd year. So, and this team calling for her to get fired right now is dumb. People need to just back up and just talk basketball inside of the setting. When shit is going good for the Fever and they winning games, we ain't talking about Christie Sides being fired. But as soon as Christie Sides and the Indiana Fever loses a game and it's not to where we expected it is, then we talk about, okay, well, she needs to be fired. We already know Christie Sides is a hot and cold coach. We already know that. We've seen it all through the season. But there ain't going to be no changes until after, and she's not going nowhere. So we might as well get used to her being there next year. But for Caitlin Clark, the Indiana Fever, and everybody else, they need to get on the same page. Aaliyah Boston has been playing like shit for the last couple of games. She just finally started playing well, and all of a sudden, she's complaining to the refs. The thing about it is, what Christie Sides should have did in the second half, once the Minnesota Lynx came out and started taking away the post play, she should allow Caitlin to be the facilitator. You took her out, you put Erica Wheeler in. Yeah, Erica Wheeler got you 5 points, but you don't want to rely on Erica Wheeler. The 3-point play, the 3-point shot that Erica Wheeler had, shot, she wasn't even sure because she was looking for somebody to pass. When she didn't see nobody there, she had to fake it and then took the shot. But then what if she had missed the shot? The rebound most likely would have went to the Lynx. Then they would have pushed it up court. Lexi Hall, fouled out the game. Somebody say, well, they should have let her play through her fouls. She got 5 freaking fouls. You can't play out through your fouls because you only one more foul, you foul out the game. You know what I'm saying? And then when then you put Katie Lou in that who has a slow foot. Then you got Timmy in. Don't know if Timmy's still healed or not, or she's wincing throughout the game. You know, the whole team looked at so dysfunctional and disarray yesterday. It was really, really bad. I didn't like what I seen from this team. This team really did look like they came into the play. They went through the motions. The first half was good. They could have went up 8, but they ended up going by 5. Caitlin Clark gave up a 3. And I don't like how the team played defense because the backs, they do too much help defense when they don't need to do help defense. They sit there trying to trap the ball. You got 3 people trapping, and then you got a wide open person. Then you got to run back to get to that person. Stay with your man. If you get beat, you get beat. But play one-on-one defense. Stop trying to do backside help and all of that. I will leave that to Lexi Hall and Timmy Fambelli to do the backside help because they quick enough to get back to the perimeter. Lissa Thomas, Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell too small. She get screened. It's easy to pick Kelsey Mitchell. It's easy to pick her because she can't go under the screen or go around the screen because she's too small. Caitlin's too slow to get to the perimeter. Boston's too slow to get to the perimeter. Dante's too slow. Katie Lou too slow. And this team needs speed wings to get out and close out on 3-point shooting. The Minnesota Lynx are too great of a team to sit there and not. Hell, Bridget Carlton, Hines Allen was abusing Aaliyah Boston ass under the basket last night. She was abusing her. Aaliyah Boston, when somebody's physical with her, she don't know how to take it. But you can see early on she had success. Then once they didn't get the calls that they had. Now the Lynx did have 25 free throw call to 13. That's 12 more. But at the same time, you got to play. You got to execute better. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's good to try to make these spectacular bounce passes and all of this stuff. But you have to be able to hold your composure. And for 2 months through the season, Caitlin Clark has, show her emotions too much about complaining to the refs and stuff. If you don't agree with a call, just say, hey, ref, I believe this call was this. Go on, stop whining, throwing your hands up and like, wow. That just shows immaturity. You know what I'm saying? And you don't need to be doing it because the referee's looking at you like, well, I'm not going to give her a call because all she do is complain when she don't get a call. If she just played the game, maybe she gets the call. And that's how referees act sometimes against good people. Hell, I don't see Asia Wilson don't get calls and she complains and yells at the ref. Kelsey Plum, they all do it. But you got to earn that call. You can't just sit there and expect to get every call because you're not going to get every call. It's just what it is. It goes in every sport. You're not going to get every call. My thing is this here is that they have to regroup going into tomorrow's game. You can't sit there and just whine and complain and whine and complain and think the referee's gonna say, okay, you know what? I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. They're not gonna give you the benefit of the doubt at all. I'm gonna I'm gonna I'm gonna play with a little bit of what Christie Sides had to say in this interview.
And she said it too, getting, there's that line, right? And you didn't want to cross it. What do you say anything to her at that point? She came to the bench, obviously, for those last few minutes of the third quarter, and she then seemed to be fine as far as the fourth quarter emotionally, right? And just back in it. Is there a switch that you can kind of turn on and off, or how do you coach someone who's obviously the crowd is loving it, right? But clearly you also don't want to ever get another technical foul or whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's she's just so passionate and so she's just a hell of her competitive spirit is like, it reminds me of Diana Taurasi. She's that. And so when she is upset or mad, like that's what we've been working on, trying to figure out how to get past those moments. I was worried she was going to pick up a T in that third quarter, and thank goodness that she didn't. But that's growth, and she's got to learn that in those moments, I need my point guard to have a cool head, get us in whatever we need to be in offensively, and then if it's not a foul call that you thought, you got to get back. You got to get back and transition and help our team get stops. So. We're working on those things. That's what a young team, that's what you do, is you try to figure out, talk about these moments, watch them in video, show them where, okay, this just can't happen because it caused this, and this. There's a reaction, to all of our actions, and we've got to make sure that we don't put ourselves in a worse spot with those kind of moments.
Go down.
All right, so I wanna comment on that real quick. What Christie Side just said. And it was the play that I mentioned earlier, Caitlin Clark had got the block and the steal and drove down, and she tried to pass it out. Me personally, I would have took it to the basket. I would have forced the referee to call a foul. You know what I'm saying? I would have lunged my body into that player to make him foul me to either get a 3-point play or now another point taken. Shout out to Pope, be frank. He also said, and even Skip Bayless said this a couple of times, Caitlin Clark needs to be, I understand you want to pass and get the ball up to your teammates, but just like you took off in the last game they played, the last game, the Sparks, you took over in that game or the game before. That's how you needed to do against the Lynx. They already couldn't stop you. They was trying to trap you. What you should have did is get to the basket, use your body, get the foul. Now, they did put bigger people on CC to move around or whatever the case may be, but at the same time, she has to be a little bit more aggressive in the fourth quarter, especially when the game was that close. The game was in reach. The game was in hand to take. CC looked to pass to her teammates, and I understand that. Now, like I said, Caitlin did took accountability for that turnover, and she owned it, and she would know that certain things that she can't do will cause her team to lose. She recognized that, so I'm not going to beat up on her so much, but she got to understand that game was to be had last night. They had that game in hand. There was no way. The third quarter was the worst quarter that they had played all freaking year. 29-12. Christie Sides, when she didn't even stop the bleeding in that game in the third quarter. That's when you should have, because I think Lexi Hall had 3 fouls or 2 fouls coming out the half. When Lexi Hall had picked up that foul, or when Minnesota went on that run in the third quarter, she should have stopped. She should have called a timeout and said, hey, let's get back to what we do. Instead of saying, hey, we can't pass the ball to Aaliyah down low. We're going to have to pick and choose our spots now. All right, Nalissa, you play down low. Leah, you come up top. Aaliyah Boston ain't a 3-point shooter, but you taking a fucking 3-point shot. I'm rather Melissa Smith take the shot than you. She hits majority of hers if she take it. You don't hit threes. Then they screen and roll suck so damn bad. It's like I watch every time Caitlin came off Aaliyah, she give a half-ass screen. Put your damn big ass caboose on that person so Caitlin could get more free. If Caitlin had got a little bit freer, she probably would have took some of them other shots from behind the arc or dribble to the basket. Aaliyah didn't want to move. She was already frustrated with the refs, so she playing like shit. Then Kelsey Mitchell is in her head because she's been missing shots. She hit some of them, but she's missing more. Melissa Smith, she's frustrated because she's getting beat the hell up and she ain't getting no call. So her game is off. Lexi Hall frustrated because she getting a foul that was a block shot on Nafeesha Carla. Shouldn't even been a fucking foul. She's frustrated. Then Timmy Van Bailey, we don't know how healthy she was. Dantas only played 7 minutes in the game, and still we didn't utilize her the right way. We got Grace Berger on the bench. Why not give her some time? Why not bring her in for defensive purposes also? Especially when I forgot the little guard that comes off the bench. Grace Berger you could have put a Grace Berger in for her. To match up with her. But Christie Sides now she got the team all the pieces back. She don't know how to utilize the rotation. The rotation was Lexi Hall, Timmy Van Bailey, Boston down the stretch, and Mitchell and Clark down the stretch. Then at some point through the game, you move out and put you was able to utilize Boston and Dantas in the game on a high and low, where Clark comes around Dantas, find Dantas, draw enough attention, and Dantas is wide open because they don't think Dantas can hit the shot, but Dantas hits them shots. Then you got Boston line low for rebounding purposes because now Caitlin pulling so much gravity towards her. Lexi did hit 2 threes, but at the same time, Christie Sides got to recognize itself because the Minnesota Lynx did what they supposed to do. They came out and made adjustments because they knew they was getting killed in the paint in the first half. 25 points in the paint. They was getting killed. Guess what they did? Okay, soon as Aaliyah Boston touched the ball, let's swarm on her. Force her to get the ball out. Right then and there, when Aaliyah Boston gets the ball and she sees them crashing down on her, she needs to kick the ball out. What she does, she grabs the ball, holds it in her hand, and then try to force a shot out. Soon as she see them collapse on her, make that pass out to reset yourself. And then whoever's on the outside, Clark, Mitchell, Lexi Hall, whoever you pass it to, they need to make them pay from the outside. That will stop them from crashing in because then they can't leave the 3-point shooters open. Then you could go back into Aaliyah Boston where she could get the easy 2 for under the basket. That's how you manipulate the game. You don't allow your post player to get crashed down on and she has to force the ball out and then it leads to a turnover. Then one play, Clark got fouled. She laid out on the floor instead of hustle her ass up and run down the court. You know what I'm saying? You leaving your team in a vulnerable situation when you laying out instead of say, I ain't get the foul. Like, hey, ref, come on, help, make the call. But you laying there and then everybody's down there. So I'm gonna let y'all listen to some more Christie Sides real quick before I close out.
The line, Matt, Chloe, James, and Jacob. Yeah, in the third quarter, coming out of half, Minnesota was forcing a lot of turnovers on the pick and roll. Yes. Just collapsing in that high action. From your viewpoint on the sidelines, were you just actively wanting to change that? Was it maybe just realizing a little bit too late that you needed to change something? What was kind of the game plan there? No, I think there were some times probably when we go back and watch, we probably needed to execute something that was a little longer. We are second or first in the league in points in the paint, or I think third or fourth, but we tied Minnesota, who isn't very good at points in the paint. I think they're maybe 11 or 12. And so we have to take advantage of where we have the advantage. And I think there were times where we needed to just come down, execute, get a paint touch, and then play out of that. And we were taking some early shots that didn't go our way, and then long shots end up being long rebounds, which is hard to get back in transition defense. Chloe and James. Yeah, Caitlin talked about a play in the fourth quarter where you guys were down one, and then she tried to bounce the ball, I believe it was to Temi, and it was intercepted pretty easily, and how she thought that was a bad read. Just how do you try to coach her through that, and kind of if she wants to take that shot herself? Yeah, she came right to the bench and talked about it, that it was a bad pass, bad decision. We just have to make sure we take care of that basketball in those moments. We have to get a good shot, have some good execution, and give ourselves a chance. That I think that was even with 16 seconds on the shot clock. So, we didn't even use up any clock when we cut it to one. But she knows, and she will learn from it. She's been learning from those kind of things. We just got to move forward and not make those same mistakes. Last two, James and Jacob. Christie, you talked about feet before the game in the third quarter in particular. What did you see from her that was making it so difficult to just contain some of the things she was doing? Yeah, she went to the three, and we were she was trying to post us up, which was tough. And Lexi was in foul trouble a little bit, so she was trying not to be as physical. But you just can't play that way with her. And so we were trying to make some adjustments and get a big on her down there. But when you have the ability to move someone like Fee to play the three and then play the four according to who's guarding them to get the advantage, that's just tough. And that just, as the defense, you've got to recognize those things early, and we're not there yet at recognizing those things early enough and making our adjustments.
Okay, so you hear what Christie Sides say, and to her point, I agree. They not there yet, because when you can move Fee from the 3 to the 4 to get a mismatch, because she knows that, okay, Lexi is guarding me. She's a little physical. Okay, let's move to a smaller defender. Let's move to get a matchup with a Leo Boston. Let's move a Leo Boston man to somebody else smaller. You know what I'm saying? Now you got the matchup with Nafeesha Carla against Boston, where she was dogging Boston out because Boston ain't fast. There was one point in the first half where Temi was on Nafeesha Carla. Nafeesha could not get away from Temi. And if you took half of Fee's points down, they win the game. My thing is this here. I would have looked at how we played Nafeesha Carla. Temi should have been more on Nafeesha than Lexi. Lexi should have been on somebody else. That would have saved her fouls a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? You kept Melissa Smith in the game, I think, way too long. Way too long. If I go back and look at the scoring chart of this game, where how many? I think Melissa Smith had 25 minutes in this game, and Temi didn't have that much. She didn't have. I think. I'm not sure how much she had in this game. Let me see. Stat wise, all right. Melissa Smith had 23 minutes. Temi had 15. All right. So if you swap that, because what Melissa Smith gave you 7 rebounds, she only gave you 2 points, and Temi only had 2 points. Guess what? I would have gave Temi them extra minutes. I would have Nalissa, especially when you know Nalissa Smith was not giving nothing offensively. Timmy had 4 rebounds, 2 assists, so you really could have substituted had Timmy play more minutes than Nalissa Smith, because then you would have had somebody a little bit quicker that could stay with Nafeesha Carla like you did in the first half when you put Timmy on her. Then when somebody like Lexi got in foul trouble, but then you could have used Nalissa Smith for that. Not Katie Lou Samuelson. So you messed up your defensive rotation, because you could have moved Lexi. You could have put Lexi on Williams or Bridget Carlson, you know what I'm saying, or Elena Smith, one of them 3. Then you would have had Boston D'd up on somebody in a down low. Then you would have Clark and Mitchell outside. So my thing is this here is that the Minnesota Lynx are a great team. They coach, they very well coached, regardless of we don't like Cheryl Reeves or whatever the case may be, but the team is good. The team is good defensively and offensively. Now, can they be beat? Yeah, they can, but you have to execute on every level. They're not going to beat themselves. Not like how some of these other teams is. They're not going to beat themselves. It's like watching the Golden State Warriors or the San Antonio Spurs coach. That's how the Minnesota Lynx look. They are a well-coached team that very sudden makes mistakes to beat themselves. And you have to play all 40 minutes. You can't have one bad quarter, because one bad quarter will determine you winning or losing that game. And that third quarter, that 29 to 12 quarter, was the quarter that determined if the Indiana Fever had scored at least 20 points in that quarter, that game would have been tighter. It probably would have been a 3 or 1 point lead in a fourth, and the Indiana Fever would probably have a better chance of winning that game. But coming down from 13 to really be in a position to get it down 1 is good. But I can tell you this: if the Fever was to match up with the Minnesota Lynx in the first round, they going home automatically. Anybody else, they probably have a chance. But if they match up with Minnesota right now in the first round, they going home. They probably won't win a game from them. I'm just being honest. So, and for this team to get on that standard, like the Minnesota Lynx, they're gonna have to move some pieces on this team to be faster. You know what I'm saying? Better defense, better offense. Because if Boston doesn't have a good game and you get all your scoring from Mitchell and Clark, that's hard on them, because if Lexi is playing defense and she's not really putting nothing offensively and you can't depend on her offensively, then that's going to be a problem. Nalissa Smith, you don't know what's Nalissa Smith you're getting. Katie Lou is a shell of herself. So to me, you need a better stretch 4, a better offensive player in the starting lineup, a third person that can make up for whatever Leah Boston is not doing. And then you need better bench production. We really don't have a bench. Yeah, you got Dantas there, Timmy there, but they older. They in their 30s. Wheeler don't give you much. Wallace don't give you much. Grace Berger and Victoria Saxon, it's time to see them. To be honest with you, it's time to see them. I want to see what they about. See, like, if the Indiana Fever had somebody like Satu Sabali instead of Nalissa Smith, guess what? How the flow of the game would have been. It would have been easy to run up there, because guess what? You would have made a Nafeesha Carla have to D up a Sabali, and you could put Sabali could shoot threes, and she's very good at passing the ball as well. And that's what you need. see, Caitlin Clark is the main passer, but if you have another passer with her, it makes everything easy, and we don't have that. So it's what it is, fellas. So my thing is this here is that the Indiana field need to get this shit together, period. Point blank, period. So until then, this is your boy Livewire Sports Media. Sunday's game at 4:00 against the Atlanta Dream. That should be another close game. But again, Indiana Fever should be able to win and bounce back from this atrocious loss on Friday night. Until then, after every video, you know what I do. You know what it is.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.